Abby, start with you. The mission of the Connecticut Juvenile Justice Alliance is what?
The mission of the organization is to keep kids out of both the juvenile and the adult criminal justice systems. And the other thing that we do is working on the assumption that, at least for now, there's going to be some kids that go into the system. We want to make sure it's safe, fair, and effective.
Okay, and to reduce the number of children in the juvenile justice system, what do you do?
So we talk about 4 main strategies. So the first one is legislative education and advocacy, and by that we mean working with the people who are making our laws so that they understand the system, and we like to try to influence the decisions that they make based on what we know is good research and good policy. We also look at strategic communications, and that just means using things like the traditional media, like newspapers, but also being here on your show tonight is a fantastic way for new people to get our information, and then using Facebook and Twitter. We also look to do community organizing. And with that, I mean, community organizing can take a lot of different, it can look a lot of different ways. You know, so we'll probably use some of this tape as community organizing, making sure even more people around the state get this information, and then giving them ideas about ways they can get involved. We go to community meetings all around the state. We work with Amy and her parent groups, doing trainings for them and those kinds of things.
And are parents involved in this community organizing aspect of?
They are. I mean, what we do a lot of times is work with our partners who do that best. So Amy and Merva Jackson at AFCamp are here in New Haven and also in Hartford. We work with another parent group called Favor, that they do some work, and we also work with the groups like the PLTI, the Parent Leadership Training Institutes. So a lot of it is the parent groups are involved in the different programs. We just did a training for parents.
You just did a training.
We just did a training. One of the things that we're working on this year is this education issue. So we trained parents. There's a documentary that was done last year by CPTV. And so we showed the video to the parents and then gave them ideas about talking points. And so they could, you know, have house parties or show the video to their friends and have the key talking points and some action steps. And
that way parents will learn to be more effective advocates.
Absolutely, and they know exactly what you're doing here tonight. They have more information, so they have more power.
Yeah, now you said you have a national, state, and local partnership, so that's what you're talking about, like AFCAM. And
absolutely.
And AFCAM, tell us a little bit about AFCAM. Who can tell us a little bit about AFCAM?
Their main mission is to work with young people who have disabilities and then advocate for them in the educational system with their disabilities, making sure that they're getting their special education if that's what's required, and other needs that they may have. They want to make sure that those young people get a fair shake as far as their education is concerned, just as any other kid.
And Amy Vatner is an attorney, and she leads that piece.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Okay.
Yes. And they also do a lot of trainings for parents. They probably do the most trainings for parents around the state, making sure parents know what are your child's education rights. You know, you have a right to get special education services for your child, and then what are your rights in the juvenile justice system. So it's very much, they do a lot of training to make sure that parents know what their children's rights are and what their rights are, so that they can be good advocates for themselves and for their children.
And I would like to add something about AFCAM. They also connect the parents to resources that are out there and existing, and bring in these resources and organizations to actually talk to these parents, because I've personally done workshops with the parents.
With them?
Yes. Okay.
And later on, we are going to put up the AFCAM contact information for people. Now, Keisha, you head up both the New Haven and the Hamden Juvenile Review Board. Tell us exactly what is the review board.
Okay, well, the Juvenile Review Board is an alternative. It's a diversionary program from the formal juvenile justice system. What it is that we work with the local police departments, Hamden and New Haven. We have agreements with them to work with youth who have committed a first-time offense, minor offenses, all misdemeanors only. And what happens is that agreement allows the police to refer the case to us instead of the child going to court, and we can assess what's really going on and intervene and help the young person. Number one, we follow a balanced and restorative justice philosophy. And what that means is that the child has to be accountable for their actions, and they need to learn accountability at a young age. When they make choices that has consequences, they need to understand that, so they can make better decisions. And then number two is understanding how they're part of a bigger community and how what their decisions are, their impact, the way that their decisions impact the community, and how they can improve that and improve the relationships within their own community. And the third piece is that young people have strengths and passions. And it's important that while we're teaching kids to be accountable for their actions and to make better decisions, it's also important that we go into what they love and tap into that and build on it. So for instance, if somebody is excellent with music and plays the guitar, we need to tap into that. If somebody loves writing and poetry, we need to tap into that, because it needs to be a way that we balance what they need to do because of the accountability with things they want to do. And we provide full case management, but this is a community-based effort. So the New Haven community and the Hamden community are very involved in the Juvenile Review Board, and we have a great deal of partners. And so it's an amazing process because youth get an opportunity to actually learn through this process, and parents get an opportunity to be a part of the solution and not somebody saying, well, your child did this, so now you have to do this. We don't want to add an additional burden to parents. What we want to do is help the child be accountable for their own actions.